Welcome back to Security and Privacy in Cloud. I'm J. Lavanya, Assistant Professor of CSE Department. So today we are going to discuss on the Unit 5 monitoring, auditing as well as management. So the topic we are going to see is that auditing record generation. Okay. So what does mean by auditing? So it is a critical process that ensures the integrity, accuracy, and compliance of financial and operational records within an organization. So by understanding the nuisance of record generation, organizations can enhance the auditing process, the mitigate risk, and ensure adherence to regularity requirements. Okay. And if you take in general, the auditing is that it's a test of a cloud environment typically conducted by an independent third party. So during an audit purpose, the auditor gathers evidence via physical information, inquiry, observation, performance, or analytics. Okay. In general, if you take cloud auditing, logging, it was recording and storing events that occurs within a cloud environment, providing a mechanism for tracking activities, identifying potential security issues, and demonstrating compliance with regulation. So these logs can be generated by various cloud services and workloads, capturing details like the user or the service account responsible for an action. So the time and date or event, the affected resource, and the outcome of the action. So if you take in case of auditing, so what are the key aspects of auditing is that the first one, event capture. Okay. So cloud services and workload generate audit logs capturing details about activities within the cloud environment. And audit log types. Different types of audit logs can be generated such as admin activity, data access, system event, and policy denied logs. Okay. And log storage and routing. So generated audit logs can be stored and routed to different destinations such as cloud storage, event streams, or dedicated audit logging services. And what about data analysis and reporting? So like cloud audit logs can be analyzed using various tools and techniques to identify anomalies, track the user behavior, and generate the reports for compliance or security purposes. Okay. Okay. So next one is that compliance and security. So, audit logs are essential for demonstrating compliance with regulations and for detecting and responding to some security incidents. And what about access control and security is that so cloud audit logs can be used to track the user access to resources, identify unauthorized activity, and enforce some access control policies. And about a cost consideration, if you take some cloud providers, we charge for audit log storage. So it is important to optimize log retention policies to manage the cost. And if you take the examples of cloud auditing, the first one is that identity and access management, where the IAM audit logs record administrative activities and access to resources, helping to track the user behavior and identify potential security breaches. And about data storage auditing, like cloud storage devices like Google Cloud Storage generate the audit logs that can be used to track the data access, modifications, and deletions. And security services like cloud security services often generate audit logs to track the security events such as firewall rules, intrusion detection events, and vulnerability scans. And workload monitoring. So audit logs can be used to monitor the activity of workloads running in the cloud, such as web application, databases, and virtual missions. And what are the tools and techniques that is used for auditing is that, like, cloud providers often provide some console and API for configuration and accessing audit logs. And log aggregation and management is that tools like Datadog and Splunk can be used to collect, analyze, and manage the audit logs from the different sources. And about big data analytics, the big data platforms like Google Cloud BigQuery can be used to analyze large volumes of audit logs for insights as well as reporting. And last but not least is that SIGN. So security information and event management. So that is a common thing which is followed, which we have seen in Unit 1 and Unit 2 as well as in Unit 3. Okay. So this is a simplified, diagrammatic representation enhancing auditing through some record generation. Okay, so here we have to consider the risk mitigation or the integrity, accuracy, compliance, and the methodologies to be followed and the best practices for it. Okay, so these all comes under the auditing value. So auditing, which involves a systematic examination of financial statements, records, and operations to assess the accuracy and compliance with established standards and regulation. It serves as a vital tool for stakeholders, including management, investors, and regulatory bodies, which ensures transparency and accountability within an organization. Okay. And what is meant by record generation? So it is a fundamental component of the auditing process and which provides accurate and comprehensive records that provide the necessary evidence to support financial statements as well as operational reports. And one more thing, in case of audit logging, in case of IBM, what they will do is that when you work in a cloud environment such as the IBM cloud, you must plan for auditing and monitoring of workloads as well as the data. So this should be guided by your internal policies together with industry as well as the location-based compliance requirements. So it is critical to capture audit events generated by the cloud services and hosted workloads running on the cloud platform. With effective audit logging, you can investigate abnormal activity and demonstrate the compliance with some legal and regularity requirements. By actively monitoring audit events, you can identify and investigate the potential security problems and take corrective actions. The core part of the auditing and logging capabilities for IBM Cloud is the forwarding of audit records for each IBM Cloud service through some activity tracker event routing. Okay, so through this service there is a forwarding of all audit events that record the activity of the IBM Cloud API and all consumers of the API such as the IBM Cloud CLI as well as the console. Okay, and so this activity tracker event routing receives all audit events from cloud services and they are forwarded to one of the three different targets like IBM Cloud Object Storage or IBM Cloud Event Streams or IBM Cloud Activity Tracker, which hosts the event search. Okay, so this is all about the tracking purpose. And if you take the record generation here, like what are the methodologies involved in record generation? So first one, a standard operating procedure, which we used to call as an SOP. And next one is automated system. And next one is that a regular training. And next one is that a periodic review. Okay, like what about a standard operating procedures? SOP is that establishing clear SOP for record generation helps to ensure consistency and accuracy across the organization. Okay, and this SOP should outline the process of for data collection, documentation, and storage. And second is that automated system. So this automated system methodology, which utilizes automated system for record generation, which can enhance efficiency and reduce the likelihood of the human error. So these systems can include accounting software, data management tools, and electronic document management systems. And third one is that regular training. So regular training which provides regular training for employees which is involved in record generation is essential, right? So the training should cover best practices, compliance requirements, and the use of the technology to ensure that all staff are equipped to maintain some accurate records. And periodic review. So what about periodic reviews then? Conducting periodic review of generated records helps to identify the discrepancy and area for the improvement, and regular audit of the record generation can enhance the accuracy. So that is why, most probably all will be going for this kind of record generation methodologies. Okay. And next one, like apart from this kind of record generation, we also have like so many practices which is followed, or we can so say like what are the importance of record generation. So record generation is a fundamental component of the auditing process. Accurate and comprehensive records provide the necessary evidence to support financial statements and operational reports. So the importance of record generation includes compliance, transparency, risk management, and decision making. So what is meant by compliance? So ensuring adherence to legal and regulatory requirements, and transparency, like providing stakeholders with clear and accurate information, and risk management, identifying and mitigating the potential risk through some documentation, and decision making, supporting informed decision making process based on some reliable data. So that is meant by the things importance of record generation. And next one, like there are different contexts of cloud record generation. So here, like cloud recording for communication platform, if you take like services like Zoom or Agora offer some cloud recording features. When enabled, the audio and the video stream of a meeting or live stream are recorded and saved to the cloud provider's cloud storage. Okay, so users can then access, share, and download these kind of recordings from their accounts. So the process typically involves starting and stopping the recording within their application interface. And next, automated record creation in cloud application. So many business, applications such as CRM or service management platform can automatically generate the records based on some specific triggers or events. For example, a new email result in a monitored queue can automatically create a new case record in the customer service system. So these records are then stored in the and these kind of records are stored in the cloud database which is associated with the application. And synthetic data generation in the cloud, in the context of data science and AI ML, cloud platforms can be used to generate some synthetic data. So this involves the using algorithms and models to create artificial data that mimics the statistical properties of the real world data. So this is useful for testing, development, and training the AI models without using some sensitive or limited real data. And what are the benefits of cloud record generation is that accessibility, like records stored in the cloud can be accessed from anywhere with an internet connection and on various devices. Like scalability, if you take, cloud storage offers flexible scalability, allowing you to store volumes of records without worrying about the physical storage limitations. If you take the cost efficiency, cloud-based solutions often eliminate the need for upfront investments in hardware and reduce the cost associated with maintaining Local storage infrastructure. You typically pay for the storage you consume. And security is that a reputable cloud providers implement robust security measures, including encryption and access control to protect your data. Collaboration is that cloud platforms often provide features for easy sharing and collaboration on recorded content or generated data. And next, like if you go for some automation, like automated record creation workflow can save the time and reduce the manual data entry errors. Okay, and disaster recovery, like cloud storage provides inherent redundant and facilitates disaster recovery, ensuring that your records are safe even in the event of a local system failures. Next one, with integration with other cloud services, if you take, so here like uh, cloud record generation often integrates seamlessly with like other cloud-based applications as well as services for further processing and like analysis or sharing. So this cloud record generation leverages the power of cloud computing to efficiently create, store, and manage the various types of records, offering numerous benefits in terms of accessibility, scalability, cost, and security. So the specific implementation and benefits will depend on the type of record being generated and the cloud service or platform being used. Okay. If you take the real-time example of cloud record generation, as I told earlier, like video conferencing, like Zoom or Google Meet, Microsoft Team, so where will be stored the global storage associated with that particular user's account. And live streaming services, example like YouTube Live or Twitch, if you're gonna use is that. So as the content creator stream live video and audio, so those platforms record the broadcast real time to the cloud infrastructure. So once the stream ends, the recording is typically available for on-demand viewing. And in case of real-time example, business application, like customer relationship management, that is CRM systems, when a customer service agent has a call with a client through some cloud integrated phone system, the conversation can be recorded in a real time and automatically attached to the customer's record in the CRM. So this provides a history of interactions for the future reference and quality assurance. And like if you take in an IoT devices, in industrial settings, sensors on machinery can continuously stream operational data, example like temperature, pressure, vibration to the cloud. And this data is recorded in a real time, allowing for the immediate anomaly detection, predictive maintenance alert, and operational adjustment. And financial trading platform, like higher frequency trading system, record the market data like stock prices or the order of goods in real time in the cloud. Okay. So this timestamp data is crucial for algorithmic trading, risk management, and regularity compliance. And in case of security and surveillance system, cloud connected security cameras, they record the video footage in real time and store it in the cloud. So this allows for live monitoring and immediate access to recordings in case of incidents. And next, if you take like data logging and analytics, so website and application monitoring. So cloud-based analytic tools tracks the user interaction like while you're clicking or the page view or the transaction on the website and application in the real time. And this data is recorded and processed to provide immediate insights into some user behavior or the system performance and potential issues. And log management services like cloud logging platforms ingest and record system and application logs in the real time. So this allows for the immediate troubleshooting, security analysis, and performance monitoring. For instance, if an error occurs in a cloud application, the real-time logs can provide some immediate context for debugging. And what about real-time data pipeline? So real-time data pipeline is that. So their services like AWS, Hymens, or the Apache Kafka, what it will do in the cloud is that it can just ingest the process and record the streaming data from the various sources in real time. So this enables the creation of real-time dashboards and analytics for application like ride sharing services or tracking the physical locations, social media feeds, analyzing or trending topics or gaming platforms. So all those stuff which comes under uh, will be going for these kind of thing. Okay, and next is about healthcare, like remote patient monitoring. So wearable devices and medical sensors. So next is that healthcare. So here a remote patient monitoring, like wearable devices and medical sensors can transmit patient vital signs, heart rate, blood pressure, glucose level to the cloud in the real time. So this data is recorded and can trigger immediate alerts to the healthcare providers if critical thresholds are breached. And live surgical broadcast in some medical training scenario, live surgeries are streamed and recorded in the cloud in real time, allowing remote participants to observe and learn from it. Okay. So next we are going to discuss is about the purpose of audit log. So what are the purposes of audit record is that? So first one, accountability. Second one, deduction of unauthorized activity. Third one, compliance. Fourth one, instant response. And last one is that performance monitoring. So what does mean by accountability? So here, audit records establish a clear trail of who did what, when, and how. So this accountability is crucial for identifying the source of security breaches or policy violations and detection of unauthorized activity. So by analyzing audit logs, security professionals can detect suspicious patterns and anomalies that may indicate some unauthorized access or some malicious behavior. And compliance is that many regulatory frameworks like GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS require organization to maintain the audit logs to demonstrate the compliance. So, instant response like audit logs are essential for investigating security incidents and determining the extent of damage. And next, like performance monitoring, audit records can also be used to monitor the system performance and identify the bottlenecks. So these are all about the purpose of audit records. Next one, the types of audit record. First one, system log, application log, security log, network log, and last one is that a database log. And first of all, what is meant by system log is that, so here these record, OS, what it will be doing, like such as a user login or the preservation, whatever you're using, it will be accessing file as well as the system errors. And next one, like application logs. So these logs record the events related to some specific application, such as the database queries, web server requests, and transaction records. And security logs is that these logs record security related events such as firewall activity, intrusion detection alert, and access the control changes. And next one, a network log. So here these logs record the network traffic including IP address, port, and protocol. And last one is that database log. So here what will happen is that it records actions such as queries or the user thing, and what are the like what are the real-time examples, all those stuff will be seen. Okay, and now we will just see what are the real-time examples for the types of these audit records. Okay, like if you take the security logs, the real-time example like cloud-based IAM. So that system log every login attempt successful or fail with timestamp, source IP address, and the user identifier. The security team they can monitor these kind of logs in some real time for some suspicious activity like multiple failed login attempt from an unusual location which could indicate a brute force attack. Okay, and next, like a real-time example, a cloud firewall logs every time it attempts to access the resources, noting the source and destination IP address, ports, and the action taken. Okay, and then there is some audit logs where there a cloud-based document like management system logs every time a user view or edit, create, or delete a document, including the timestamp and the user's identity. So real-time alerts can be set up to notify the administrator if a user with limited permission tries to delete a sensitive file. And in system logs, so there is also real-time example like what happened like a database service in the cloud log every database connection. So query executed and changes to the database schema. A real-time analysis can help identify the performance bottleneck or suspicious query pattern. Okay, and then in application log, the real-time example like a cloud-based banking application logs every transaction, deposits, withdrawal, transfer. Okay, and then the details which you're giving like account number, you can flag some unusual transaction volume or transfer to some unfamiliar accounts. Okay, and in case of compliance audit record like real-time example, a healthcare application, the cloud log every access to patient health record including the user, the patient record access, the timestamp, and the reason for access. Real-time monitoring helps to ensure compliance with HIPAA regulations regarding the patient data privacy. And if you take the key characters of these real-time audit record, like immediacy, like records are generated and often available for review very shortly after the event occurs. And granularity, they typically capture the detailed information about each event. And timestamping, so precise timestamp are crucial for sequencing events as well as investigation. So user or the system identification which clearly identifies the actor, user, application or the system process which is responsible for the event. And action description like will be giving a detail what action can be performed, and outcome is that indicate the success or failure of the action. Okay, so these is all comes under the types of audit records. Next one, record generation and storage. So here also we have the automated logging, centralized logging, and then log retention, log integrity, as well as sign system. Okay. So automated logging, like most system and application automatically generate the audit log. Logging mechanisms are built into operating system, databases, as well as security tools. In centralized logging, it's a best practice to centralize the audit logs in a secure location. This makes it easier to analyze logs and prevent the tampering. So log retention. So here organizations must establish log retention policies to determine how long the audit records should be stored. And retention periods are often dictated by some regularity requirements. And then log integrity. So here it is crucial to protect the audit logs from some unauthorized modification or the deletion. So techniques such as digital signature and hash functions can be used to ensure the log integrity. And sign system, so security information and event management system plays a key role in collecting, analyzing, and correlating the audit logs from various sources. Okay, so this is all about the record generation and storage. Okay, and here also I'll just see what are the drawbacks. We have seen some real-time example, we have seen the advantages, and what kind of drawback is there. So while you are using these kind of record generation storage, there are potentially some drawbacks will be there, right? The first drawback related to this generation, like performance overhead, like generating records, especially detailed audit records or high frequency data stream, can consume some system resources, CPU, memory, or the network bandwidth. So this can potentially impact the performance of the application or the services being monitored. Okay, and data volume and costs. Continuously generating detailed logs can lead to a massive volume of data. So this directly translates to increased storage cost in the cloud. So which can become significant on over time. And complexity of configuration, setting up and managing record generation policies, what to log or the level of detail can be complex, especially across the diverse cloud services and the application. So incorrect configuration can lead to either insufficient logging or overwhelming amounts of irrelevant data, and potential for sensitive data logging. So if not configured carefully, so record generation processes might inadvertently capture the sensitive data, example personal information, API keys and logs, creating security as well as compliance risk. And impact on application logic. So in some cases, integrating record generation mechanisms into application might require code changes, potentially increasing development effort as well as introducing the risk of bugs. And drawbacks are related to storage is that the cost of a storage, as mentioned earlier, storing large volumes of record in the cloud can become expensive, especially for some long-term retention. Okay, so different storage tiers offer a varying cost as well as access speed, which requires careful planning as well as management. And data security and privacy. So storing records in the cloud means entrusting sensitive data to a third-party provider. While reputable providers have robust security measures, there is always a potential risk of data breaches, some unauthorized access or compliance violations if security controls are not properly implemented and managed. And next, like data governance and compliance. So meeting specific regulatory compliance requirements like GDPR, HIPAA for data retention, access control, and data sovereignty can be complex when data is stored across potentially multiple geographical locations in the cloud. And vendor lock-in is that, so here are relying heavily on a specific cloud provider for storage, which can lead to some vendor lock-in, making it difficult and costly to migrate data to another provider in the future. And data retrieval and analysis costs. When storing data might have a certain cost, retrieving and analyzing large volumes of stored records, which can also incur significant charges depending on the cloud provider's pricing model and the complexity of the queries. Okay, and then data integrity and availability. So although the cloud providers offer high availability and durability, there can still be occasional outages or data corruption. Right? So the organizations what is needed is that they have to have some proper backup and disaster recovery plans in place to reduce these kind of risk. And complexity of data management. So managing the life cycle of stored records or the retention policies, archiving, deletion, which can be challenging at scale in the cloud and requires robust data management strategies as well as tools. And performance of data access. So accessing and querying very large data sets of historical records in the cloud can sometimes be slower compared to accessing data in an optimized or on-premises system depending on the storage tier and query complexity. Okay. So this is a little diagram for the auditing as well as record generation. So the user activity will be doing some activity here. The system events, as we have discussed already, and the configuring changes will be happening in the audit log. So this is a somewhat a diagram for the auditing and record generation. Okay. So hope in this particular video we have discussed on auditing record generation. Like we have seen the introduction to auditing and why it is important for the record generation. And you have seen so many importance of it and methodologies for record generation. And what are the practices for a record generation and what are the purposes of audit record and types of audit record. Like nearly if we have seen 5 types and real-time example and how is it implemented in real-time application and what is its impact in the industry and in record generation and storage. So here too we have discussed about various logging methods. Okay, and here also we have seen about the drawback, advantages, and how it is used in real time and what kind of you know drawbacks related to it and how to overcome such things. Yes, so we have discussed all these things in this particular video. I hope you have a clear view on these topics. We will discuss on the next video. Thank you all.